aussi. When I wake up in the morning, love, and the sunlight hurts my eyes, and something without warning, love, bears heavy on my mind. Then I look at you, and the world's alright with me. Just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be a lovely day. When the day that lies ahead of me seems impossible to face, when someone else instead of me always seems to know the way, then I look at you, and the world's alright with me. Just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be a lovely day. When the day that lies ahead of me seemed impossible to face, and when someone else instead of
Oh, it's Friday. Happy Friday. Safe travels, Ms. Ricks. Godspeed. Benita, Godspeed, and safe travels to you too. It is Friday. Oh, it's been a week. I don't even know how I got through this week. It's been one hell of a ride, people. So last week in this time I was knee deep in boxes and storage units and pod. And I'll be back there in a minute once I unpack. So, and move into the new space. And so I was just talking with Harry because I'm trying to figure out time off to sort of do that, to move into the new space. So it's been nice hanging out downtown, I must tell you. It has been my pleasure. So hold up in the loft is listen, it ain't the border, mofos. It ain't the border. I tell you that. So I'm having a good time. So I can't wait till we launch the podcast. I mean, the podcast is launched, but I can't wait till we, turn it loose on everybody, because it's a really good podcast. Man, what? With Markeisha Ricks, Michelle Turner, and myself. Old broads or quasi old broads talking about broad kind of things. So anyway, just got off air at 9:00 with Anru. Oh my God, I always love those conversations. That gives me my spiritual fix. Let me tell you. And I love the deep dive and the mysticism and the conversations around that. And he's the right one to bring that. So I enjoyed that very much. I really, really, really enjoy that. And I know people are enjoying the conversations that we have too, because they say as much. So in the spirit of Verdine White's birthday yesterday, and a couple of other people, and happy birthday to my soror, Dr. Tamiko Jackson, I'm going to play some Earth, Wind, and Fire music today, because I love Earth, Wind. Like, Earth, Wind, and Fire is my favorite group. Favorite. And so I'm gonna play some Earth, Wind and Fire, and I'll be back as I drink some more coffee. Yes, the elements of the universe. Happy birthday, Verdine White. So, I'm not even gonna talk about politics. I can't. Can't. I'm just gonna talk about the good weather and Morris Day gonna be on the green this weekend. I'm gonna talk about that. Hey, have you heard? I can talk about that. I can talk about Morris Day, and not because I'm shying away from politics. It's because I'm exhausted from politics. I'm really am exhausted. I just like I don't, and you think I'm exhausted. I'm not even out here in these streets stomping like these brothers and sisters in Puerto Rico who held it down, and gonna get them a new governor. And I suspect they're gonna stay out there because the new governor, whoever they're trying to force down their throats, they don't like that person either. So they might just stay. They might stay in these streets. So we'll see. We shall see. But whatever they do, I'm with them. Okay, why isn't my mouse acting right? Okay. So I'm just saying. I'm just saying, Puerto Ricans, they got it going on. I'm with them. I'm with them all the way. And they are showing us, they're reminding us what protest looks like and how protests can get things done. And they were peaceful. They wasn't tearing up nothing or anything. They were just like, listen, we're gonna stay in these streets until we get what we need. And sure enough, they hung out. So anyway, so let me see what's going on in the city. There's a lot of good stuff going on. Y'all know Paul Brian Hudson. His band is playing tonight at the State House. So that might be fun to go check that out. I did buy some tickets, so we'll see how that goes. I'm a little worn thin. I was in New York on Wednesday with Ife. We went to see Layla Hathaway. Layla Hathaway is finally singing her father's songbook, right? Donny Hathaway. If you don't know any Donny Hathaway songs, shame on you. But you might not be old enough. So, but if you're my age, you've got kids. Your kids have had to have heard it because you've been playing this music. So yeah. So we went into New York, Lincoln Center, out of doors. I guess they've been doing this since 1986 or so, 85 or somewhere around there. They started hosting these parties on their grounds because there's a park adjacent to Lincoln Center. It's all in Lincoln Center, but they have a park, and so they've been hosting these events. So anyway, about 50 years ago, they started. About 40 years ago, they were doing this, and then they moved it to this particular park. But the Soul in the Center, which is Soul in Lincoln Center, started, and so they had Carmen Lavalade come out and talk about this. She's stunning. She was married to Jeffrey Holder, the whole thing. He passed away. I mean, but Carmen de Lavalade is a famous dancer, and very black and very, about it. So she came on and she talked a little bit about that. They had some Afrofuturist rapper DJ kind of people playing music, and that was fun. They had a choir, that was great, and then they had Layla Hathaway and her sister, who is an accomplished, I think, operatic singer. She's an opera singer, trained opera singer, but she sang a couple of her father's songs too, and it was really, really. I mean, it was a beautiful night to be in New York. Number one, if you've not spent any time at Lincoln Center, it still is one of those pretty places. So yeah. So we were there. So we might go back Wednesday for the rest of the series because it was well done, and we just had a good time. So the line to get into the seating part of the park was 2 blocks around the corner. So we just went in to the park part, which is in front of where the seating is, which was fine. We could see, through all the, the things they had built up. The sound stage and all that kind of stuff. But you could see. And she was in great form and great voice. So we heard it. And so it was just a wonderful evening to be outside in New York City. And so I think I'm going to play a little bit of Roberta Flack and Donny Hathaway singing Back Together Again. So Roberta Flack, because there's a New York Times piece on Layla Hathaway finally singing her father's songs, um, and Roberta Flack is, I believe, quoted as saying, she is delighted and thrilled that this music is being done by Layla, and that she's appreciative of it and all that. And that's a wonderful thing to have the blessing of someone who was very close. And she talks about she's never had a collaborative partner in the way that she had with Donny Hathaway since. So and that's a lot, because Roberta Flack is iconic and her music is iconic. So anyway, I'm gonna play a little bit of that because it was so good. And when Layla Hathaway's album comes out in the fall, run and get it. Don't even try to go download. Don't even try to go listen to it before you buy it. Just buy the damn thing and buy it for family members. Okay. Harry's over here messing with the mouse. Harry, did you cut the song off? Okay, we just gonna leave it off, Harry. Thank you, Harry. I got my mouse got new batteries, so now it's faster, and stronger and more powerful. It's bionic. I'm a bionic mouse. Oh my gosh, I need a rest. That's all right. Jazz tomorrow, Cafe 9, 4 o'clock. The 27th. Is today the 27th? No, today's the 26th. So tomorrow at Cafe 9, 4 to 7, guitarist George Baker will be at Cafe 9. Oh, that'd be nice. That'd be a nice little concert to go to. Sit and listen to some good music. That'd be nice. So, let's see what else is going on. I could tell you. We can see what else is going on. I'll give you the updates on events. So Summer Jam is tonight. Today at 4 o'clock, the opening reception for Art Space Summer Exhibitions. So check that out. Helen Calder is still over there, Art Space New Haven. I know she's trying to break out, but join them for an opening reception for their summer exhibitions, summer apprenticeship program. So Willie Stewart, videos and collaborations, a potential history of photography. So there's a lot going on over there. So go check them out today at 4 o'clock, 4 to 7. That's a wonderful thing to do. Tonight at 8 o'clock, summer jam sesh with that's Paul Hudson. So go and check him out at the State House. You know where the State House is, 310 State Street, New Haven, behind Old Horowitz. You know that. Paul Bryant Hudson and Jeremiah Fuller. So that should be good tonight. The music should be on and popping. So yeah, get yourselves there, and have some fun. It's summer. Tomorrow, Saturday, the Bridgeport Arts Festival, 10 a.m. at McLeavy Green. So if you feel inclined to get yourself to Hartford, 10 o'clock for the better part of the day. KSJ at Bridgeport Arts Festival, she's going to be there. Kate Stephen. I like her jewelry. I wear her jewelry all the time. The great orange earrings I've been wearing the other day. The disc of the sister with the afro. So I'm always in her stuff. So yeah. Block party with Mayor Harp is 12 o'clock tomorrow. Or is it tomorrow? Yes, I think it's tomorrow. Ooh. Or today. Yes, it's tomorrow, 12 to 6. And it's over there where I work. 55th Street. So they're having a block party. So Tony Harp, block party, free, open to the public in the parking lot of her campaign headquarters. Food, music, fun, kid friendly. Bring some friends. So that might be a nice little thing to do tomorrow. If you want to get out, go to a block party. If you're in New York, Schomburg Reading Circle tomorrow. Summer Reading Circle Summer 2019. So if you're in New York City and you want some cool stuff to do, go to the Schomburg Center for Research in Black Culture at the New York Library. It's at 515 Malcolm X Boulevard. Y'all know where it is. So they're going to start talking about some 3 books that they're going to be reading for starting. They started in July 13th and it'll run through August 24th. So go check them out if you're in the mood to be in New York this weekend. I was there Saturday. I was there Wednesday. Although I do think it's going to be quite hot. Oh, the Bawdy Bookworms, the RWA meetup, which is Thien Kim Lam, who is a friend of mine. I love to go. It's going to be at the New York Marriott Marquis. That's just getting off the train and walking around the corner. So a casual meetup for the Bawdy Bookworms and friends. Meeting location in the hotel bar on 8th floor. Hang out, grab some swag, and meet other Bawdy Bookworms. So Bawdy means erotica. So she carries a lot of erotica stuff. She has this whole erotica life, and I love it. So I'm a fan. I'm in their book group. So if you're in New York City and you're somewhere around the New York Marriott Marquis, on 1535 Broadway, stop in there. They're gonna be on the 8th floor at the bar. I would like to get on a train and go there tomorrow. It's Saturday from 2 to 3. But I think it's gonna be so hot that I don't know if I want to be in New York. But even though it's not outside, it's inside. It might be worth it for me just to run up to New York and say hi to her and hang out and and do that. And last but not least, y'all know Jenny and Eric's midsummer party. They've been doing this thing all summer. So they're having a party at their place in Brantford, and it's tomorrow, 5 o'clock. And so food, fun, their third monthly house party, Saturday, rain or shine, anytime after 5. Bring your friends if you want to go. So I've been invited. I've yet to go because it has run up against some things, some other things that I've committed to going to. So we'll see. And then last but not least, Morris Day on the Green tomorrow from 7:30 to 10. So that should be fun. If you enjoyed Lisa, you're going to enjoy the zany, crazy, forever dapper Morris Day. Morris Day is the guy. So I'm in this Morris Day mood. I don't know if I can find Morris Day music. That's the only thing. I have a lot of other music, but I don't know why I can't find Morris Day. Harry, why don't we have Morris Day? Do we have Morris Day music? I have Van Morrison, which is not the same as Morris Day. And the time. Let's see, Morris Day, and I don't think he's coming with the time. I don't know. Who knows? He's gonna come with somebody. Gonna do something. So I don't have any music for him. Let's see. I don't see anything. So what I'll do is I'm still in Roberta Flack, Donny Hathaway kind of mode because I was so moved by Layla Hathaway singing her father's music. Really? I mean, I'm really I was really moved by, and she sang this Christmas. In July, she sang it, and she teased us with it because she sang the backside. She sang the backside of the record, which is a holiday song. And she was like, "Oh, I'm not singing that song. I'm gonna sing the song on the other side." And then the next thing you know, and then everybody went crazy. And she's like, "All these songs are y'all songs?" And everybody's like, "Yes, girl. You don't even know. You don't even know." So it was just great. I'm so glad I went because I would have forever been sad if I would have missed hearing her sing her father's songs live. I'm going to buy the record. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to buy the record. Believe me. Believe you me. I'm going to buy them. But to hear her live and for free, can't beat that. So anyway, here is Roberta Flack and Donny Hathaway. Where is the love? I think I'm going to go with that one. Where's the love? And she sang this too. And she did a damn good job. So I hope you like it.
So don't leave me hanging on to promises. You got to let me know. I never
Yes. So if you don't get that album, you're gonna really miss out. So I believe it comes out in the fall. So I'm looking forward to it. And I just so enjoyed her singing her father's music. And she talked a little bit about in the article in the New York Times article. She talked a little bit about why it took her so long to sort of do it. She said because it's a mourning process, right? And you know that's her father, and her mother is still alive, and so you know it just took a lot for her to sort of get to the place that you know, I guess like Natalie Cole, who sang her father's songs, Nat King Cole. You know, you want to step into your own artistry and not so much ride the coattails of your famous parent. And I think Natalie Cole successfully did that. But I think her career got way better once she started singing her father's music, and then just started singing the American songbook anyway. It just took her to a whole other strata. It made her a superstar, actually. I mean, because you know she was singing cool stuff, but like a lot of these artists who come along, they want to sing what's popular because popular music is it gives you an audience here and now. And so I think she was like, I have an affinity for my father's music, but I'm a young woman. I want to sing, songs that young people were singing. But when she stepped into the genre of the American songbook, she really, really elevated herself to a whole other stratosphere. So I think Layla Hathaway is going to find that out too, that she really was made to sing these kinds of songs, her father's songs, these iconic songs that are so they have so much heart and memory for people. I mean, we just love Donny Hathaway, and no one is singing his music, right? Like no one is like covering it, no one is playing around with it. So that the fact that she is like bringing us back to it, and the other part of that is too is that we don't want nobody messing with that music. We don't want anybody messing with Donny Hathaway's music. Like, I don't want Tyrese singing, Donny Hathaway. I don't want none of these little singers messing with, with this classic music. I just don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear Genuine and anybody messing with these songs. I just don't want to hear it, right? Because they'll mess it up and they'll make, Donny Hathaway wasn't meant for trap. So the fact that his daughter is doing this music and she's doing it in the spirit of in the way that they were intended, it's just for me sublime. Just and to hear her outside in the park in full voice with a 24-piece orchestra. I mean, baby, I would have paid any amount just about to hear that. The fact that I got to hear it for free is like almost too much. It's almost too much to take in because I was so moved by it. Anyway, so that's where we are with that. So I couldn't find a Morris Day song, not even under Prince. And I thought there was I thought there was I bet you if I looked under the Purple Rain kind of stuff that might work to find Morris Day because he was so much a part of that soundtrack. So let's see. Yeah, because he was so much a part of that soundtrack that I might be able to find something, but I don't see it. I was looking for the whole Purple Rain soundtrack, but I don't see anything. Because I know that's got to be on there. So let's see. No. Oh, well, that's all right. I tried it. Anyway, well, don't wait for me to play the music. Get yourselves down to the Green on Saturday and you just take in Morris Day your damn self. That's all you got to do. Take it in. I think New Haven really did a good thing when they just decided to do these concerts. And these concerts are very black. Make no mistake. I mean, I know there's white folks come downtown to these concerts because they know the music, but Lisa is a very black kind of thing. And Morris Day, I guess white folks know Morris Day, I guess, but you will see black people, and Morris Day belongs to us. So you'll see it, and I'm sure he will cover some of these songs because he's talented in his own right, and so it'd be nice to sort of see him, and that's probably as close as we're gonna get to somebody who knew Prince as we're gonna get in a very long time. Do you know what I mean? Like that's as close as it's gonna get, and the fact that he's coming here brings that closer to us. At least it does my heart good to sort of see to know that he's coming. But I'm not gonna be on the green if it's like 1,000 degrees. I'm just not doing it. So don't look for me. I'm gonna be in the loft in the air conditioned space because it's too hot for me. And Harry had the nerve to say, "Oh, Babs, you like the humidity. I like the humidity when it's like 75. I don't like it when it's 2,000 degrees outside. I can't breathe. I can't do it. So I'm not doing that. So anyway, so maybe I go back and I'll reconnect to a little bit of Earth, Wind and Fire because yesterday was Verdine White's birthday, and Earth, Wind and Fire is looking really damn good these days. We saw them last summer in Hartford at the whatever the outside theater is on the other side of Hartford. It was really, they were in good voice and good form. And I was just like, wow, Earth, Wind, and Fire, y'all are looking pretty damn good. And, these cats I'm 56, so they're already in their 60s, damn near 70. Like they're in that age cohort. I mean, they're not much older than me, but enough, right? Like enough. So it's really nice to sort of know that people are still loving the Elements and that they're still putting music out, right? Like I think they just had an album out like a year ago or something. And sound, quintessential Earth, Wind and Fire, a lot of horn, a lot of percussion, tight vocals. They don't mess around. They know what works for them and they stick to it. I like that about them. So people are rediscovering their music, or not rediscovering it, but staying in the music, and they come here pretty regularly. They make their rounds when they're in Connecticut. They're Hartford. They do the casinos, and they come back over to Stanford. So it's nice. I'd love to see them at the College Music House. That might be too small of a venue for them. But I would love to hear them there because I bet you those horns would blow the roof off that sucker. I'm telling you, I would hear them there. I'd go see them there. That's a good space. Good space. So maybe I'll talk to the powers that be over there. Although it might be too small for them. I don't know. I saw Tower of Power there, and that's an equally big band too. So who knows? I'm not gonna play any of the songs that Michelle Turner hates, like Boogie Wonderland and September, because those are for the white people. The true Earth, Wind and Fire stuff, we know which ones they are. So I don't know, but I actually like September. I know she can't stand it, but I kind of like it, and I love this. So what I'll do is I'll play the funky cover of the Beatles' "Got to Get You Into My Life," which when I first heard this, I thought this is probably the baddest cover of any song remade by the Beatles I've ever heard. Like people remake those Beatles songs, but they put them in their repertoire, or they do them in their concerts. But when Earth, Wind and Fire took that song, they just funked it all the way up and blew it to another level. I don't even think I think the Beatles are like, damn, we didn't even have that vision. So here we go. Got to Get You Into My Life. Earth, Wind and Fire.
Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my I took a ride, didn't know what I would find. There, another road where maybe I could see another side. There, ooh, and then I suddenly see, ooh, and then I tell you that I need you every single day of my life. You didn't run, you didn't lie, you knew I wanna hold you. And had you gone, you knew in time we'd meet again before I told you. Ooh, you were meant to be near me. Ooh, I really want for you to hear me say we'll be together every day. Got to get you into my life. Got to get you in, got to get you into my life. 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 Then I suddenly see, ooh, did I tell you that I need you every single day of my life? Got to get you into my life. Got to get you in, got to get you into my life. Got to get you into my life. Got to get you into my life. Got to get you in, got to get you in, got to get you in, got to get you into my life. Got to get you into my life. Got to get you in, got to get you in, got to get you in, got to get you into my life.
Happy birthday, Verdine White. So I did find a song. I found a Morris Day. Well, it's under the time. So I had to go do some deep diving. I was like, oh my God. See, that's how I know white folks do not know this music. I had to do some deep diving. And so I'm going to play myself out with, because Morris Day is going to be on the New Haven Green tomorrow, Saturday. Be there, be square. Even though it's going to be like 2,000 degrees, sunblock up, get you an umbrella and some cool drinks. You'll be fine. I'm going to play Jungle Love by the time. And so this is a fun song. So I will see you all next week. Enjoy your week and be safe. Have a good time. I may see you out there in them streets. But anyway, here you go. Morris Day and the time. Jungle Love. Hey! Hi, this is Babs Dolls Ivy from New Haven, Connecticut, and you're listening to WNHHLP 103.5 FM, streaming live at newhavenindependent.org.
burst your guts. You wanna make love or what? Oh, yeah. I won't take you to my cage, lock you up and hide the key. Oh, yeah. You are only getting wider, babe, 'cause if you're hungry, take a bite of me. Oh, yeah. Oh, jungle love, yes. Oh, yeah. Think I wanna know ya. Hey, jungle love. Girl, I'd love to show ya. Yeah, jungle love. I think I wanna know ya. Jungle love. Girl, I think I wanna find my name. Hey, Jesse. Now Jerome. Yes. Check it out. Jungle love, yeah. I think I wanna know ya. Jungle love, yes. Girl, I'd love to show ya. And that jungle love, wow. I think I wanna know ya. Jeremy, that's it. Hello.
All right, I'm gonna switch this over, Harry Droz. Hi, this is Babs Rawls Ivy from New Haven, Connecticut, and you're listening to WNHHLP 103.5 FM, streaming live at newhavenindependent.org.
Alimatule tanamatele, mandendia na mota manya. Alimatu tanamatele, yamadia na mota maya. Alimatu birete tanamatele, ibi banko me mamatela. Alimatule tanamatele, aladia na mota maya. Alimatu tanamatele, yamadia na mota maya. Alimatu birete tanamatele. Mandiya na mota mali nundiala, dana matiri, ibi banko mi mautikela. Iyo jula masana, ila manyote, andela mutu manza balana. Iyo mutu manzana, ila manyote, kalikatinya mutu manzale mama. Alama beki tira bulu kulu nyama, alama beki tira. Ibane manadina kubi sobo bulu kulu nya. Musi sisi konsidirila. Bulu kulu nya dimini bonsa kudi bulu kulu nya. Bulu kulu nya dimini bonsa kudi. Alama lukula bagani ni kulu lani. Ubidu ma baraka dinye. Akala mawule kotila nyuna kulada. Kutodu masoro nye. Ana kubi yemandi alido. Dilanya nanala.
Oh, to be the moon in the sky. Oh, to be the moon in the sky. I could catch your eye every time you looked up high. Oh, to be the moon in the sky.
Hi, this is Aaliyah Swaby, and you're listening to WNHH LP 103.5 FM, broadcasting live from New Haven, Connecticut, and streaming live at www.newhavenindependent.org.
Nobody cares about me, don't even have a friend. Baby's gonna love me when will my troubles end. Black night is falling, I hate to be alone. I keep crying for my baby, and now another day is gone. I've got no one to talk with, tell my troubles to. Don't even know I'm living since I lost you. Black night is falling, I hate to be alone. I keep crying for my baby, and now another day is gone, long gone.
Good morning and welcome to WNHH's Dateline New Haven.
Wow.
No more drinking for you, Paul.
I'm your host, Paul Bass, inviting you to look behind the headlines on the stories that make the Elm City tick. Nothing ticks better than Pundit Friday, which is to begin here in the WNHH studio with #1 pundits in the media universe like the dairy-free goddess of our grassroots radio operation, the belle of our ball, managing editor of Inner City News and host of Love Babs, Love Talk, Babs Rawlseye.
Viva la Puerto Rico.
Okay,
Yes.
now we got the governor and the quintessence of compassion, La Voz Hispana publisher Norma Rodriguez Reyes.
¿Qué pasa?
We got WNHA station manager and heavy D Donald Trump devotee Harry Droz, the bravest man in New Haven, working the controls, and if we're lucky, he'll come in and tell us what he thinks about the Puerto Rico governor versus Donald Trump. And we have the preordained pastor and prophet of paradise, our DJ of deliverance, the filial force of fortuitous fomentation, the ouster of obstinance and ostentation, the savior of civility, hurricane and heavenly homily, the conqueror of cannabis commerce, the bright light in the New Haven night, the straight shooter from Bermuda, the mystical and metaphorical
Trinidad.
man on the money, the tackler of tempestuousness and titan of temperance, the banisher of bilious bullies, prince of pleasantries and punctuality. He's the sorcerer of scientific solution, the blessed beatboxer of banksters and bacchanalians, the just-in-time judge of jackals and japery, the sentinel of serenity, sincerity, and salvation, the poobah of unparalleled political passion and perspicacity, the righteous reaper of restitution, the exalted expostulator of extemporaneous exegesis, the bossa nova mover and shaker, the griot of the grassy knoll,
Yeah.
Joe Ugly of the Joe Ugly Show in the morning.
Can I just say, Paul, thank you for the warm welcome. But no, but while we were, last 2-3 weeks that we were off, someone asked me, why do you say I'm the straight shooter from Bermuda? Because I'm
You're
from
not from
Trinidad.
Bermuda, but you're in there too.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one in there later.
Yeah, I
What
get-
is it? Where is that
But
one?
you know, you hear straight shooter from Bermuda.
It just sounded too good. Didn't you
Yeah.
Did you ever go to Bermuda on vacation? Have you ever been in Bermuda? No, I'm asking that seriously.
I've been over the Triangle.
All right, there you go. Of course you went. As a matter of fact, you were there hunting for
Is that
clues.
some kind of truth? That's
That
Trump
counts.
truth. Not quite a lie. Not
Yeah.
quite the truth.
That's right. He's the top tier talent from Trinidad and Tobago. Okay.
Yeah.
Folks, big news in Puerto Rico. The governor
Yes.
resigned after weeks of protest. Peaceful revolution. It was interesting in New Haven last night. Laura Glesby has a story about this in the Independent
Yes.
this morning. An interesting confluence where we have a great Puerto Rican community that after they had the hurricane, they reached out to people who came here. A lot of people had relatives and helped them get settled here, succeed in school like in no time. Families get settled. Juan Candelaria, state rep, got extra aid for them to get settled. All our great community organizations swung into action like Junta and others, and also helping people who were already on the island. But as you know, the island's had quite a run with the corruption and the debt, and then the hurricane. And so last night at Amarantes, they were celebrating heroes of the Puerto Rican community, like the Honorable Glass Nevis and Fairhaven Health and the Ocasios, and but they also were celebrating what they said was a peaceful revolution on the streets.
Mhm.
People were just not going to go until the governor resigned, but they didn't hurt anybody.
Right.
And the island's been hurt enough. And Kika Matos, who was emceeing, said, "This is what change looks like, the way we want it, peaceful." Is that how you felt, Norma?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly didn't think that he would relent.
Mm.
But I'm glad that the pressure, this goes to show that if you're persistent, you get what needs to be done.
Persistence overcome resistance.
Ooh, they like that. You make that up, man?
I found it somewhere.
Physics. Okay. So can you explain something to me for an outsider? I'm the outsider because I haven't followed it closely enough. The way it looks to me, that the match that lit the fire
Mhm.
were these leaked emails where the
Right.
governor and his buddies were acting like bros and saying, it's kind of skanky stuff, right? I mean, nothing like,
kinda.
it's like Donald Trump on his nicest day as altar boy sounds worse than this, but it was bad. Okay.
Mhm.
And that just got everyone so upset because they've been wrestling with stuff that really doesn't necessarily have to do with him, right? I mean, there is a corruption scandal going on with him about whether they used influence for some of their friends to get contracts, which again is like Donald Trump on his most honest day as altar boy. But the island has for decades, first of all, it's a colonial entity, doesn't even get to vote for the people who rule them. And now with a combination of climate change hitting them so bad with these storms, long-term debt that a lot of us have always felt were in terms that were more advantageous to the lenders than to the recipients, and then you can't dig out of them. Maybe that's simplistic. It probably is. That's how I feel.
No, that's a fair.
And they've had so much they've dealt with over time, the debt crisis, the rebuilding an island that was so devastated. And remember how the president of the States has just contempt for their efforts to rebuild. He swung into action into blue states when they get hit by storms, but told Puerto Rico go take a hike and
Made red
insulted the
state.
officials there. Yeah. So what I wondered, is this really about him? Or is this more like there needed to be a casualty an imperfect human being
But the question was
when there are deeper problems that still need to be solved.
when it was a corruption issue, the question was he getting kickbacks?
True, and it's going
Right.
to be investigated. Again, not the kind of thing that topples leaders, at least until we find out more. It certainly when it toppled Donald Trump.
Well, they
but-
threw people out in handcuffs pretty much recently out there in his administration.
that-
It was coming directly
in the
to him.
world, do we see people massing in the street and refusing to leave based on that?
You know,
They don't even want to bring Trump to impeach Donald
Well,
Trump
that's
for
a
raping
different
people
story
in this
altogether.
country.
but you know,
they want to.
the political phenomenon in Puerto Rico is almost very similar to the suburbs, where you have like 50% Republicans and 50% Democrats.
You mean here, suburb?
Yeah,
On the mainland.
suburbs here.
Yeah.
See, and in Puerto Rico, the PNP, the PNP, that's the party in which Rosselló belongs to, and then the PPD. So they say like the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. So they're neck to neck. So those people take their politics very, very seriously. And the truth is that both parties have done the same thing with the island. They've actually stripped and robbed the island.
I have no
And-
doubt that's true, and it's clearly backed up by the reporting. Again, is it any different from places where don't rise? I mean, Venezuela, I guess they did rise in the street and they got brought down. But again, is that the root of it, or is that sort of like people fighting over crumbs after
don't think
colonial
so.
powers and the nature have destroyed
it's
your
just-
island?
I personally don't think so. I think
I'm not at all
when
criticizing the protesters. I'm just trying to understand it.
When we look at if we look at the real reason, the root reason why Trump is not challenged is because of the stronghold of gerrymandering. I mean, he has great support coming from red states, and they're afraid to challenge him. That's all because
I
they don't
actually
want to be
agree. I
primary.
agree with that very much. I'm
So-
thinking also globally, separate, take it away from Trump.
Uh-huh.
Just, I mean, this is how most of the world operates. And only in certain places do you see it lead to popular uprisings. And again, I'm not disagreeing with a single thing protesters have said, a single thing anyone's saying. I'm just trying to understand why it happened there. And I'm just wondering if other conditions need to be present as well.
I
Where
mean,
there are greater problems that are hard to solve, then if you get people there just jerking around and feeding their friends some of the money and looting some of the treasury, that's not going to be okay if you don't have the wiggle room. Because like if you have an oil-rich nation like Venezuela was
Like Trinidad.
before they had their current problems and they were making so much money, nobody really minded that a dictator was
I don't think minded is the right word. I think what happens is history tells us that anytime you oppress people to the point of breaking, they're going to turn around and fight back. I mean, history shows that history bears this out to us over and over and over again. If you oppress people, at some point, people are going to rise up. That's just the nature of oppression.
Was this governor oppressing them for a long time?
It wasn't.
Well, it wasn't him, but the system that he had.
That was what I'm trying to get at.
But he was.
But that was the
system.
tipping.
I'm not defending him. I'm not.
No,
sorry,
I
it's the
know
tipping
you're
point.
not. But
Yeah.
this is the tipping point.
Yeah.
In history, there's a tipping point where the people say enough.
Enough is
I mean, we
enough,
see it
right?
now. R. Kelly. The tipping point was one video too many, right?
After so many
Epstein,
years.
The straw that broke the camel
one
back.
girl too many.
Straw that
right?
broke the camel
So
back.
yes, and what is
And
the way?
changing conditions. Like there was kind of almost
Absolutely.
applauded at another time. You know, Donald Trump winked and said he likes the young women, and back then Bill Clinton was raping people, so it didn't matter. And now we have a Me Too culture. So I'm wondering, are we living in different times now? What's allowed
Well, different
as well
times
as
is playing a
corruption?
role into it, but I think a big portion of it goes back to what Babs was saying, especially in the
final
likes of
straw.
Puerto Rico. It was systematic oppression where you had the bond market was tied to utilities, and that was hurting the people. Schools were being closed. I'm talking about down in Puerto Rico.
And then the
Schools
governor
were
took
being
credit
closed.
for job creation with
Exactly.
recovery money, which is not true.
Correct.
But what about privatizing the utility company? Obviously, with my political bent, I wouldn't like that. But was
Right.
that a problem?
Yes, it was a huge problem because then they were able to siphon money out that was tied to the bond market, and that was really a problem. They never put any money back into the infrastructure, and that's why when the island was hit with a hurricane, people's lives were in so much turmoil. But I'm gonna if I could just shift gears just for 5 seconds, and then we could jump back. And my big question is, what's going on with the people down in the U.S. Virgin Islands that we hear absolutely nothing about, but they've been hit with the same issue?
Is it because they have fewer
Same
ties?
hurricane.
Do they have fewer ties to the mainland?
No.
than the Puerto
No.
Rican
No, and
community?
I raised this
No.
question with Lou in Rosa DeLaura's office last year, and I said, I'm concerned about what is happening because my sorority, we've been making inroads into what is going on in the U.S. Virgin Islands in that particular island. And stuff was being done, but it doesn't get the same
so
sort
far.
of
This
is
no
so-
coverage.
This is so interesting. So I am wondering. I know we have a Caribbean community here.
Mhm.
And you talk about so when you talk to Lou Manzini in the Congresswoman's office, that's an example of trying to bring it to awareness. But do you think it's true that we have more organized, larger profile
Why do we need
awareness
super
among the
organized, larger profile?
I'm not saying we should. I'm just trying to explain why it
I'm not
happened.
saying that you should, but I'm just echoing for those who
Trying to
might
figure out
think
why.
as such and holding it that
Yeah.
they should.
Well, I mean,
Why do we need it? Is what I'm saying.
I mean, I think for me, it only becomes of interest to white people when white people become interested. Black people have been interested about what is going on in
they're
the
interested
Virgin
down
Islands,
there. They
and
wanna do
people have
some
been
land
working
grab.
on that. The media has not sort of put any focus on it. The
At
focus
all.
has been on Puerto Rico only because this president has been beefing with Puerto Rico,
Correct.
and treating Puerto Rico as if somehow or other it has no
Ties to the US, that's
responsibility or ties.
Why should either place be a U.S. territory?
Why should it? But
I don't know. I didn't
That
listen.
goes back
I
to
don't
their
know. I don't know how
structure.
to. I don't know how to answer that.
I wish we were sending humanitarian aid and they ran their own place.
Yeah, well, here's the whole deal. I mean, of course we
And
want to
voted
hold
for
on.
their own
Of
leaders.
course, we would like to hold on to it because we had to give up Cuba back in the 50s. But you want to have some way of respite to keep U.S. dollars circulating in the Caribbean islands. That's the bottom line.
So,
on it.
Norma, you've been
And
listening.
where it is, basically where it's strategically placed.
Mm.
One of the reasons why the U.S. always wanted to keep Puerto Rico is because of the military reasons.
Mhm.
Are they still relevant? I mean, are we still worried about Russia and Cuba?
No, but it's more
the
economics
problem
now.
with
You
Puerto
want
Rico has
US
been
dollars
going
in the
on
Caribbean.
ever since the Americans went over there, provided all those tax incentives to all these companies to go there without charging them any tax. And then when it finished and they all left the island, all the pharmaceuticals left the island, that's when the island really went worse.
But even before that, normally you start seeing some strong inroads of corruption where people were actually tying into. And I was doing a little research on Puerto Rico, and as far as where did the corruption started off, and you're talking it dates back as far as the 70s, where it was
Before,
yeah. But my research has put me back to the 70s, like the mid 70s. We're talking about like almost 50 years, where these guys were like starting to cipher off from this and cipher off from that, and then as they move on, it was like passed on, like passed on to the next person. And people came in with wanting to do good.
I mean, Puerto Rico is no different than what we're seeing, what's happening on the continent of Africa.
Correct.
In some of these countries where colonialism
And that is
has
by-
left and
exactly.
capitalism has replaced colonialism.
Well-
So this is not new.
Mhm.
This is not new stuff. People come in and rape the island and take what they want and leave the people with nothing.
So
And it wasn't until Hurricane Maria that 70% of the people of the United States found out that Puerto Ricans
Rico's
are
part of the
American
US.
citizens.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
what's very
even
interesting,
hate
they
even
don't
hearing
even
that.
let
I
us.
with
The
people
people
about
of
this.
Puerto Rico can't even vote for president of the United
That's the
States.
part. That's the part I can't get my mind around. So, Norma, there are divisions within the Puerto Rican community here and on the island about whether a long-term solution involves statehood or does it involve independence or just keeping the current colonial
The
relationship.
status quo. That's always been.
Where you stand?
They have had. What is it when you go to vote? When you take it to vote,
Referendum.
a referendum, a whole bunch of times on this.
Mhm.
Okay.
And I've never understood why it lays out the way it does and the status quo remains.
The last referendum, they voted for statehood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
But when you do the analysis of how many people actually voted and how many did not vote,
Mhm.
then so many people did not vote that then they said that those that did not vote really was the vote there.
So, what would you like to see happen? You were born there. You own property there. You
I
go
was
back
born there, and one of the I happen to like the status quo.
Why?
I wish we had with some changes to it.
Mhm.
For instance, yes, that we stay as American citizens, that we get to vote for president of the United
Well,
States.
that is a change.
That
Mhm.
the
Should
right
you have a
now the
senator or a
tax structure.
congressperson?
Yes, the tax structure over there is they
Correct.
charge us more
Yes,
than
yes.
if we
Yeah,
were
right.
American
If
citizens.
you're on mainland, no. If you're on the mainland, you are American citizen.
I mean, right. But when I look at what happened to Hawaii, okay,
Mhm.
when Hawaii became a state,
Mhm.
how many Hawaiians still own their land?
Correct.
None of them. It
You're right.
became it became an American territory. I mean, a state,
Mhm.
and therefore they lost absolutely everything. And it's very difficult once you've had your own language, your own culture, to now give it up.
And that's what's going on down in the Caribbean. I mean, down in Puerto Rico, for example, Black Beach. You're aware of Black Beach in Puerto Rico, where the sand is black. That is a huge target. And you look it up, people. I mean, it's out there. Black Beach is like a huge target for resorts. You're walking on the sand. It's nice and soft. It's beautiful, but it's literally black because of some charcoal or something like that. And it's a main attraction in Puerto Rico.
I like to see Puerto Rico maintain their culture and their heritage.
Exactly.
And I think I'm with you, Norma. I kind of like the status quo, but I think with some caviats,
Exactly.
being able to vote,
right?
and having legit representation for
Whatever
their
happened to
interests.
taxation without representation? Whatever happened to that?
And it's so funny the people who have that cry most about the American Revolution have the least interest in having that be true in modern day Puerto Rico.
True.
You have a lot of people that want us to be independent. If we become independent, we lose our American citizenship. And
You lose
people are
all
not
what you
going
got.
to be willing to do that.
You lose all what Puerto Rico have been given back to the U.S. Do you know right now there's someone right here in the city in the city of New Haven that have a 401k that's tied to the bond market in Puerto Rico?
But
let's be real about it.
They gave us the citizenship in 1917 for one purpose only: to take all of our boys to war.
Correct.
More Puerto Ricans have decorated medals than any other culture. Why?
That's
Because
true.
the first ones that they put out there in the front to die are our people.
But that's because they didn't keep track of the Buffalo Soldiers. That's another
Okay.
thing. Let's be very clear here.
Yeah.
They did not want to give us any. There's a whole Tuskegee Airmen. I could tell you on and on and on of all the different battalions of blacks that they did not give any credit to because
I
of
agree.
the GI Bill. They did not want
Yeah.
to give. They wanted.
Yeah.
They did not want to share the GI Bill with blacks.
That's
So,
deep.
but it's like, but
Yeah.
it's real.
Yeah. And so you're really listening to Pundit Friday on WNHH 103.5 FM, live streamed to New Haven Independent.org. Now they're taking care at the TCB of CRB at City
Oh,
Hall.
You know how I feel about this foolishness.
I really want to hear this because we have a new civilian review board. It's going to have subpoena power. We've been fighting about it for years. Now we're fighting about who should be on it. The mayor nominated a lot of people. And when the hearing came this week, the activists have pushed harder for the changes and say their views about, especially black and brown people, about how they deal with the police are not represented in the current police commission or the Internal Affairs Department enough of the police department. So they don't want people on the commission they think are insufficiently critical of the police. So there was one retired cop, Proto, who was slammed for hours, and Steve Hamm, who was accused of being a centrist who didn't bring up the word structural racism, who recently did a movie on community policing. So they were slammed for hours. What'd you think about that?
I mean, I said this from the beginning. It is going to be challenging to serve on this review board because the time and energy people are not. Now it's all hot right now, but when you get in the trenches and the deep dive of this thing, people are not going to want to do it. So the fact that you have people credible, respectable people who want to do it ought to be looked at. I don't understand what exactly you cannot stack this civilian review board with people who have angst with the police department. That's not going to work in the
That's true.
long run.
In the long run.
It's not going to work.
Why is that not
You
going
know
to
why
work?
it's not going
Because
to work?
it'll be a us them always. It
Because
would
they
never
will
be
never be objective to see
Right.
things for
Correct.
and what'll happen is because I know this. You're gonna go into this thinking I'm gonna look for all the bad police brutality, and then when you get the facts of things, it's going to
Start
be
to-
very difficult to sort of stay in the place of anti-police and I'm gonna thwart police brutality.
I mean, obviously that's
It's gonna be a difficult thing. And what happens when more times than not you see things a different way and you have to sort of consider those facts and deal with those facts up against the people who want you to whatever by any cost go say, listen, from where we stand, this looks like abuse. And then you come back and say, well, these are the facts.
Right.
This really wasn't the way you imagined it because you're on the outside and now I'm in the
So
inside.
obviously a lot of us look at it this way. And then what I'm hearing from the activists is, look, we don't get a fair hearing elsewhere. The reason we created this stronger civilian review board is because there's such a lack of public confidence. We need a body that has public confidence. Steve Am was saying, well, who's the public? And they shot back, well, who are you to say who's the public? We showed up. And they're saying we need one place where people really come to it with this experience of having brutalized by the police. So it's interesting. There's one guy, Jay Wu, who's very intelligent guy, and he speaks out forcefully at events. He's been arrested over and over for the years. He almost ran over some cops and had a stolen car. Then a cop did something terrible and inexcusable was he jumped on the hood of that car when he caught up with it, smashed the window, and shot a bullet into Jay Wu's body. So his charges eventually got dismissed because of how the police acted. But they're saying that kind of experience brings a needed perspective to the police department, which I think is true. And then, to civilian review. And then they say a police officer who is retired shouldn't come because and they said he committed crimes, but he didn't. He was once a co-defendant with like 20 cops in a civil complaint against Billy White, but he wasn't one of the people who did the bad stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, a long time ago, and they're saying because of that, you shouldn't be considered. We shouldn't have police officers on it because of the perspective they bring.
Are you suggesting that all they want is people who have had adversarial dealings with the police,
or agree with the perspective of people who do,
and that will, and they think that is more valuable
than being objective
than somebody who has not had those experiences and can offer and broker a different perspective?
I believe you should have all experiences. I think you should have those experiences. Ivor Johnson spoke from West Rock, said, I was scared once my kid was going to get killed. He was doing nothing wrong, and some cop came on him and described this whole thing that too many people have experienced.
Mm-hmm.
And I personally think this guy, Officer Proto, is a very reasonable guy. I think he'd bring a good perspective too. I like the idea of having one's perspective. I don't know that objectivity exists. I think people have different life experiences that give them perspectives, and I think you need reasonable people who care.
But at the end of the day, you have to be objective. Like Babs said, when you get the data in front of you, you have to be objective about it. You have to look at the data and say, okay, like you said, Babs, how does is this really police brutality?
Did they finally put a Latino on the civilian review
There was
board?
one from the beginning. He didn't have a Latino last name.
Even though he doesn't have a Latino last name, he
Does he
doesn't have a
count?
Latino last name and he doesn't speak Spanish. So how much Latino can you be from that perspective? To me, a Latino is somebody who can relate.
So you're not happy with
and
Mayor
have
Harp?
No,
for
I
leaving
think it
people,
needs to be
Latinos out?
someone from the issues that we're dealing with on a daily basis of policing out
I'm
there.
not disagreeing with you at all. I
We
just
don't-
want to mention that
And so
the
to
Board
me,
of Alders can.
it's a flaw.
So
it's
the mayor
flawed
doesn't
if you don't
appoint-
have somebody that represents our community there.
And I'm not disagreeing with you at all.
Okay.
Mayor Harp does not appoint everyone. So the Board of
Right.
Alders should use that power they have to fill in the gaps. Mayor Harp struggled with the fact that after all this talk, very few people applied. They had to go out and find people. It's long meetings.
That was my
from the beginning.
from the beginning that
Well,
nobody's
was it
going to want it.
advertised? Was it promoted? Was it?
Yes.
Was
Oh,
this
yeah.
thing
Yeah.
I mean,
happening?
Well,
people
I know
knew
three
this was
Latinos
coming.
that
I
applied
didn't
and
know
they
about
weren't chosen. None of them were chosen.
Who applied Latino and didn't get chosen?
3 applied
Who's
and
we?
were not chosen because you know what?
But who's we?
You had to. I said 3.
Oh, 3 Latinos
You
applied and
had
weren't chosen.
you had to have been part of the management team, and many of the Latinos don't go to the management team.
Mm.
So that in itself, the way these people were chosen,
Harry Drost says, too bad he's not in the. I wish you were here to say these things. Can't we all just get along? And it's not a contest, Joe Ugly. Let Norma be proud of those Puerto Ricans who served. All right.
my knight in shining armor.
So, there
Okay,
was-
Harry.
so by the way,
Buffalo
the lead follies are continuing. Yesterday there was an absolutely amazing event that should have just been a boring meeting at City Hall.
Mm-hmm.
So you know how City Hall's under fire because they
Mhm.
changed the rules on lead paint
Correct.
enforcement. 4 separate judges says you're breaking the law. Get your act together and fix how you do lead paint, and they're being sued. So Mayor Harp, there's a big declaration at City Hall on July 1st saying we're changing our policy to what they're asking, to what we used to do before we changed it, and we're going to change the law to reflect that again, and we're going to hire more inspectors, and we have a new person in charge. At that press conference, the woman she put in charge disagreed with her, said, no, we're not going this new standard. And then Tony Harp said, yes, we are. And Rosenham said, no, we're not.
Well, you know what?
And
You
then
know what
Tony Harp
that
said,
is.
yes, we are.
That's because they didn't brief Roz before they had that
Okay, so
meeting.
let's fast forward to yesterday. Roz led a meeting. They said, we're having a whole new task force going to help us do this. They brought in experts.
I know, I read this.
They brought in Serena Neal Sanjuro from her busy job as LCI director. They brought in Karen Du Bois Walton from the Housing Authority. They brought in
well-respected people.
They brought in the state prosecutor in housing, and they say, by the way, you gathered here, and guess what? We're putting forward the new law to the Board of Alders. They said, can we read it? They said, no. You could talk about it after. So Karen Du Bois Walton says, why have us here? Neil Sanjuro said, that doesn't how it work. We're not going to be able to influence it after. And then the second thing that happened was Roz Hamilton then began again to contradict the mayor. She said they're not going to do full-out inspections when people are at that lower level of blood, 5 micrograms per deciliter. And then she started complaining how New Haven's getting blamed because we tried to do better to help people. And that just, Serena, actually, her head dropped in her hands. And she said, shouldn't we be about doing this because we want to help people, not because we're mad that they're trying to get us to help people? And then...
I'm with you, Serena.
And then, Dekiva Mule, who's the boss's community service administrator, then knew that this was a disaster again. So he just talked for 20 minutes. And at the end, he said, we are sticking with what the mayor said. How can this happen? You've been sued. You say we're going to change it. You appointed someone. You finally got rid of people who were screwing it up for years who you're defending, and now you got rid of them at the health department. You put in someone who publicly contradicted you, now puts together your task force, says they can't do anything, wasted some of your top aides' time, and then contradicted you again and saying, I'm not carrying it out.
I'm not understanding. I don't understand any of this circus. The goal ought to be doing what is right, not what is politically expedient or politically optical.
So if you decide doing what's right is politically expedient, then why can't you just do what's right?
Well, just do what's right.
Well, why can't you do what's expedient?
I don't know. Are we Is there some piece that we're not privy to?
I think the health department has been completely broken for years. We started with the release of people's private data when they had diseases, and there was no one came forward to talk about how they're really going to fix it or to apologize, take it seriously. 4 separate judges choose you out over a year or two. You continue to say everything they're doing is fine. You have someone who's been running for 37 years, handing millions of dollars out for lead paint fixes, still doing files by hand and telling the judge the reason we haven't kept up with it, we don't do it on computers. You finally get rid of them, and then someone contradicts you publicly and feels they can and continues to.
They need an office of, you know what they need an office of? What's the right thing to do now? So whenever they have these,
why don't they just get people who can do stuff?
I just feel like there needs to be an office of what's the right thing to do now. So when they come up with these things or when they're faced with these things, they go to this office and the person says, well, this is the right thing to do now.
By the way, this isn't new.
It's a shame that
this
makes
isn't
sense,
new.
but it's a shame that it's needed.
This is new.
I don't understand.
New where aides of the mayor appointees publicly contradict her over and over again.
Yeah, that's a problem with that altogether.
What's going on? Can you imagine, John, just having all these people want to be alive?
I know.
Not that that's good. I'm not saying that's good.
No. Bottom line is people would
bad.
have that level of disrespect for.
That's what it is. It's the level of disrespect.
It's unbelievable.
What does it say about the leadership?
No, they don't say anything about the leadership.
Really?
It says more about the person's ability to respect leadership. That's what it boils down to.
But it's still going on for years. Don't you think at some point it's up leadership to not allow that to happen?
No. This has always gone on, but the problem is it was never public.
Just because
it used to go on behind.
That's where it's supposed to happen.
In closed doors, not publicly.
Exactly, and it's just because now that these people decide they want to mistake this woman's kindness for being a fool and being weak. You know what she needs to do is stop it, but then publicly spank them.
You know what she needs? She needs me to go over there and knock some asses down.
Yeah, I'm telling you, she needs a pit bull in there. She really does.
I'm like, no, we're not doing that. And then if you do that mess again, let me tell you what's gonna happen.
Exactly.
Seriously, she needs somebody with a big stick. Because she got a CAO. Who's her chief of staff? She got chief of staff.
Sean Madison.
Where is he? Is he still?
This is different department. This is community services. This is
no.
So who's supposed to run interference for this mess?
Oh, either the executive assistant to the mayor or the coordinator, in which case is the community service administrator.
And who is that?
Dekiva Mule.
Who?
He's the community service. Dekiva Mule.
Is he any good? Apparently not.
I'm not a person to weigh in on that. Okay.
Well, no, I'm just punting it off.
See, my problem. Here's my problem with all of this: is that the mayor has to suit up and go out and take these hits.
But you
where the
have
hell
to.
is this administration that's supposed to get in front? What? I need to go over there and teach politics.
She's
101.
the general. Where are these damn captains and lieutenants?
She should never be seen having to deal with this mess.
Never.
They need to be on the front lines saying whatever they need to say and shielding her.
Doing
Where's
your part.
The shield?
Well, do your part, too, Seth.
I don't understand why there's no shield.
There's no shield.
What does Thomas Reyes do over there? What's his job? What is his job?
He's a chief of
He's
staff.
a chief of staff.
What does he do?
Thomas should be all over this.
I don't know. Let's ask Norman.
He should be all over this.
Norma's like,
I'm
yeah, I
not commenting
ain't got no. Where's
no,
he?
is I recuse
Conflict of
myself from this
interest.
discussion.
There ought to be a first line of defense, and there isn't any.
Right.
She is out there
She
with the
should-
sword and the shield
You-
all the time.
You got the general on the battlefield.
I'm like,
When does
why?
that- No,
Thomas Reyes, then whoever else, and then whoever else. She should never have to be out there
Never.
fighting with people in
Never.
a press conference about what we gonna do.
and these people
And then
would have
2
known
weeks later, continuing to be
exactly disrespectful. Let's call
Listen.
it. Let's call it because you know I mean, you know what, man?
That's the thing
know
that
what?
bothers me the most. That she doesn't have a front line of defense, and people think because of her quietness
Mhm.
and her thoughtfulness
Correct.
that somehow or other. Because
Just-
John DeStefano would have just kicked asses and everybody
Fall in
before
line.
they even got their
There,
asses kicked.
there would be dead bodies.
Yes.
Absolutely,
And that is not good. Murder is not good.
No, I'm
No.
not suggesting
No, no,
murder.
but-
but there is a level of respect that happens when
Right.
you know,
In politics, there's a level of respect.
like
I mean,
this
at the
ain't
end of the day-
camp.
Yeah.
They're acting like this is camp. Like, oh, I
Showing
don't
up.
want to play volleyball today, so therefore I'm not gonna play. No.
You know what, Babs?
You
should be
need
over
to
there.
be somebody needs to be the
You
shield.
should be over
and it
there.
needs to be three
And they
shields
just someone-
deep.
I'm telling you right now,
It
if I
should be
was
the
over there, I'm
CEO,
totally not
the,
tolerated.
the little health guy,
Yeah.
whoever he is.
Right.
These people should
They're all
be
gone.
They're all gone.
Finally. It took 2 years when everything was getting messed up.
I'm here to tell you right now.
See,
she
that's
need-
you
yeah.
can't no.
No, she needs someone who out there who's just gonna say, "Excuse me, we'll
Yes.
discuss this behind the scenes."
And remind them that
Exactly.
they were listening to Pundit Friday. WNHH 103.5
That they work for
FM.
City Hall.
Live streamed
By
at
the
New Haven
mayor.
Independent.
I
Dot
appointed you. Don't
org.
get this don't get it twisted. She
Like she
appointed
shouldn't
you.
even have to say that. That
No,
should
no.
be understood.
This is where the person should be. Excuse
How
me.
about how do
the
you
mayor
rate-
appointed
how about
you.
how do you
Fall in-
say I was
No.
wrong if you're wrong?
I was wrong?
There was,
Did
a
you
con-
s-
there was a controversy this week
If you were wrong about
involving,
something, say I was
involving
wrong.
Mayor Hart, but she went on WNPR.
Okay. Well, there lies
Now,
the
Mayor,
problem. Should
Mayor
be
Hart
here.
took some
Today
heat
is beat
because
up on Mayor Harp Day.
No.
it was Monday was beat up Mayor Hart. That kind of fell first. So so a while back, her campaign manager issued a statement
Mhm.
and said that the wife of the man running against her, Justin Elker, Allie Elker, is a federal prosecutor.
Who's her campaign manager?
Ed Corey,
Who is that?
Torrington.
Hmm.
Okay. So anyway, and by the way, this was not just
Suit up.
it was not just the campaign manager, just so you know, because the campaign put out a statement saying that there's a conspiracy
Mm-hmm.
that Justin Elker's wife, who was hired under President Obama.
Oh God, here we
who-
go with this
You
again.
remember this? Yeah,
Yeah, I
and I'll tell you
remember
why
this.
we're going again. Okay, now she does not handle corruption or anything in the federal prosecutor's office. Said that she conspired to send a subpoena from the FBI to City Hall to ask about spending problems that were identified publicly in the New Haven Independent,
You know something, Paul?
and
You
said
know-
there was a conspiracy between her and Donald Trump's administration and the chairman of this New Haven Democratic Town Committee.
Okay, Paul.
To publish
please.
no, we remember that. Okay, so she got hit for that, right? Because people used to beat up on her husband. She says, I don't like being husband. Why beat on her wife? So then on NPR, they asked her, so how do you feel about, like, now you think it was a mistake? So Mayor Harp started saying it was probably, in retrospect, ill-advised. Because I remember it was like my husband was attacked in my first race against Elliker, although it wasn't Elliker who attacked her husband. It was a different campaign, Kermit Caroline. So then the NPR host, who's a tougher person than I am, because when Mayor Harp comes on the radio, I don't follow her up. And, I let her say what she says. And so say, well, do you believe the conspiracy accusation is accurate? Do you think this conspiracy exists? Here's what she said.
Oh God.
I don't really know.
Okay.
I don't think it can be proven.
Okay.
Certainly, I can't say it's basis. I can't say there's a basis either.
Okay.
So people said, so you're still not saying you're not walking it back.
Don't
Now,
walk
Joe,
it back.
so when people say, for instance, President Obama was born in Kenya,
Mhm.
and they say you have no proof. Right, I can't prove it's true or not true. Or if you say Joe Ugly went out and robbed 5 banks. Well, I can't prove it's true, but I can't if it's not true. Does that mean you should go around saying Joe Ugly robbed 5 banks? Should you go around saying
Okay.
President Obama's really from Kenya?
Okay. Let's look at what we're.
Is there a
no, no.
communications person over there?
Yeah, let's look at what we're really dealing with right now.
Is there a communications
dealing
person
with-
over there?
The Mayor Harper is coming from a minority perspective, not from a white perspective that's saying that Barack Obama was born in Kenya. We're talking about from a black perspective where we have seen the system stacked
No
against us
question.
in so different
COINTELPRO, Tuskegee experiment, black
so
codes.
many
Okay.
different ways. We just can't keep dismissing stuff because we know for
So
a fact
should-
the system
Okay,
has been
given that
we
we know that's true, is it a good idea to
It's
then
a
make
different point
accusations
of
with
view.
no basis?
Well,
It's
she
a
didn't. She
different
didn't make
point
the
of view.
accusation.
Yes, she did. She's
Well,
standing by
okay,
it.
no.
Okay, wow.
But Paul,
They
again,
believe it. They all believe it.
Paul, again, we're looking at it, but if we look at it and someone come out and say, like how they were saying Barack Obama was born in Kenya. That was coming from a white perspective to that. That's an accusation that we all know what that's motivated by.
It's motivated by knowing that white people have this reason to believe it even when there's no facts.
I just think this is not
so
a
here.
Yes, but it's not the same.
Here what they did is they floated
It's a false
something that
equivalent.
there's no basis.
No.
They
That's
think
a
people
false
will believe it.
Wait a
This is
minute.
a false equivalent.
First of all,
we're
is it
talking
true?
about people
No.
who talk.
Is it true?
experience.
No.
Is it
No.
true?
No.
Okay.
Okay, then if
But
it's
it-
not true, then she's got to walk that back.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's it.
But they still
If it's not
believe-
true,
But
she's got to walk it
perception
back.
is everything in life. They're assuming, okay, because of where she works and what she has access to.
Mhm.
That's where the assumption is
Is
from.
it true?
Okay.
We don't know yet. To be honest with you, you don't know
Okay,
yet.
we don't know if Joe Ugly bobbed 5 banks because we can't prove it's not true.
Just because
so we'll
so-
just set it out there. Big pictures. Joe Ugly, banks. Where'd the loot go?
Is it
In
true?
Can
my
I have a loan?
closet.
Can I have a loan, please?
Is it true? If it's not true,
I gotta say,
then we have to rock.
Oh,
See,
boy.
I'm tired of
You
this.
can't disprove a
Fast
negative.
and loose with the truth.
So, but you know, they really
we're not.
believe that they're being wrongly treated by saying she didn't close the subject. She blew it. She
No,
went. She got
I don't think
terrible
so.
media advice. So when you said something you shouldn't
Is
have
there a
said.
communications director over there? Is there
why
somebody?
should she be the one to have to roll back if this is a conspiracy
What?
or
'Cause
not?
she's
And
doing-
meanwhile, we
You
got
know
the
why?
president of the
You know
United
why
States
she's
of
gotta roll
America.
it back?
To this day, they're sitting with DNA
But yeah,
evidence and still blaming the Central Park
Listen,
Five.
that's
I'm
a
sorry.
listen.
Come on,
That's a
man.
white man. That's a whole different thing.
Exactly.
But listen, you know why she's got to walk it back? Because she's got a whole administration of people who can't help her. She got a whole administration. She got a communications director who does he communicate anything other than a press release? I don't understand any of this.
Right.
She's got a health department that not really is not a health department. She's got people advising her of foolishness, and she's out there taking the heat for all of. Why aren't they standing in front of these press
Well,
conferences saying this mess?
I want to come out, and this is strange right now what I'm about to say, but I agree with Joe.
Ooh.
She should not walk it back. I say stay strong, right? Let them prove a negative, right?
You know what? I'm with you on it.
Right? And
Prove
we
a negative.
and look, we know that there are witch hunts. Look,
Mhm.
there could be a witch hunt right now. The FBI going after Tony. You know, I'm just saying. Wait, I want to make this clear because
What?
we can't trust the media. I'm saying the FBI
What
investigation.
do you mean we can't trust the media? We're all sitting here in the media.
Yeah, but we could trust. In this room.
Just us.
So the question is, Harry.
take that
Harry,
mic from
how would
Harry.
you feel? Harry, how would you feel if a public
He started
official?
off good, and then all of a sudden
No,
he just
no, he
got
didn't.
looted.
No, he's going on the
then he
Trump
just
thing.
got
Never
looted
say
by
never,
stuff.
make a mistake. But
No,
Harry,
that's
how
not
would
what
you
he's going.
feel if someone in power publicly made a public statement that said that Harry Droz did absolutely horrible, illegal, criminal things, and there is absolutely no proof of it, no basis, no facts, just because they wanted to hurt you? Would you feel okay about that person never saying, "Wait, I shouldn't have said that. It's not true"?
Well,
happens all the time
In the words of
to our people.
Well, yeah.
of Robert Mueller,
Well, our people
this is a special
get
case.
hit like that all the time.
This
If it's
is a
not
special
true, then
case.
why is it such a big issue?
And what about our concern about the Justice Department? The U.S. Attorney was really upset because they're saying we're trying to do stuff fair. By the way, that's the department that, when it's run by Republicans, has prosecuted Republicans for corruption, like like John Rowland. These are professionals, and most of them are Democrats. Why they feel like the way they feel about Trump's attack when he doesn't like what a judge does or the FBI does is then people don't trust the system if you're making up stuff to cast aspersions on the justice system. I think that's a problem.
You know what?
I totally agree with Joe that there's a history of incredible conspiracies against the black community, racist law enforcement that continues to this day. I think the FBI has continued to be racist. But if you make up stuff that you know isn't true and refuse to say it isn't true, then people aren't going to believe you about
But
the
did she
real
make
stuff.
it up? She just didn't agree
They
or
totally
disagree
made
to
it up.
She didn't.
Yes, she did.
She wrote that.
No, but she stood by it.
Okay, she stood by it. So she don't know if it's true or if she maybe. So let me
and
ask you a
she talked
question.
For
about
them
bad
to
But
make
let me
it
ask
up,
you a
where did
question,
it come
Paul.
from?
So,
Where
okay,
did it,
okay.
You
Let
don't
me
just
ask you a question.
make something
It came
up from
from
nothing.
campaign
Yes, they do.
advisors who said,
Did she
people-
lose the right to believe that maybe this is true?
Okay, right, believe, but if you're going to run for office, you're responsible for your statements,
Yeah.
right? And
Okay.
she talked about how bad it felt, and I agree with her, when people attacked her late husband when she ran for office. It wasn't Alec, it was somebody else. So she knows firsthand. She kept saying, hey, don't be hard on me because look what they did to her husband. I'm with her. I hate the way I don't let them post the comments attacking her husband. I think that's unfair and mean. So why wouldn't she walk back attacking his wife?
Well, maybe she don't know how to moonwalk.
I think because I think
Did she say she believes it?
She said, "I can't say it's true. I can't say it's untrue."
All she did was, I can neither confirm or deny. That's it.
see.
There's nothing wrong with that. All is fair in politics. I'm sorry, everything is fair in politics.
Well, then I have to tell you, that's not going to help her get elected. They raised extra money for the campaign the opponent's campaign the day they came out with that.
Is that right?
That's fine.
They used it as a fundraising.
I mean, that's
technique.
fine. I mean,
I am.
That's
and
no.
it fed
That's
every
no.
white
That's
person.
no.
I'll be honest with you.
But that's all
I'm
right.
really
That's fine.
past the whole
There's
how
no
much money
indication
you
of that.
raise.
There's no indication that because somebody raised more money that they'll
Yeah.
win. Because first of all,
Look
they
at
don't.
Trump.
I
They're
agree.
not talking to us anyway.
I
So
agree.
Bush Senior had more money out there than Trump.
I agree.
Way
I agree
more.
with you about that.
But at the end of the day,
so I mean, white people going white. So that's fine. Fine.
White people gonna
They
white.
go white. White people go white.
I done heard it all.
But you know,
My
I
Lord.
think over here we get away with a lot of things. For instance, how would we feel if we said black people going black?
Black
The
people
black
gonna
people
black.
we
would
say
be
it all the
offended.
time.
The black people would be offended.
No, I wouldn't be offended.
And
I
now
say it
we
all
say
the
the
time.
white
I say it all
people
the
going
time.
You
white.
never hear me
then
say-
we're
No, no, no.
what are we doing here? We're
It
double
depends who
standard
says
here.
it.
Oh, hold on.
Right?
Hold on.
It all depends who says
No,
it.
hold
'cause
on one second.
Like
Hold
if
on, Norman.
like if Paul said black people are gonna be black,
Hold on, Norman.
then
Hold
it'd
on.
be like, well, wait a minute.
Wait a minute,
You know,
Norman.
but Joe can say whatever he
Well,
wants.
hold on, Norman. Hold on, Norman. Let's be very
It's
clear.
like the N-word. At a
That-
concert, white people shouldn't be raising their hangers saying the N-word, but if African Americans are singing the song and claiming the word,
That's right.
They can. Yeah.
Yes, they can.
Yeah.
Let me tell you why.
Unless
I
you're
can-
in a sing-along.
Let me tell you why I can say it. Because we already know the systemic racism in this country is
Right.
leveled by white folks. They are the architects of racist and colonialism.
I didn't know a black
and all of
captain
that.
on that slave ship.
Not a one.
I don't
Listen,
know one black.
let me tell you
I never
something.
Heard of
So
one
we
black
could go
But my
check-
whole concern, let me tell you, with this entire race is
Yes.
exactly that. I mean, with this entire political race
Uh-huh.
is the fact that we're going to end up with a very divided city along racial
So
lines.
Margot.
It's
I mean
already been-
Margot.
But but it's
that's
it's
my
been
daughter's name, Margot.
undercurrently, Not
She must
so.
be doing something she shouldn't be doing.
Poor Margaret.
And God is trying to
be
let me
called
know.
Margot. I am honored to be called Margot.
Norma.
And Pundit Friday.
Listen,
You're listening
Norma,
to
we
103.5
already,
FM.
listen, this is the thing that kills me with people with racism. New Haven is like 5 different kinds of cities. It's poor black, rich black, poor Latinos, and rich Latinos.
Mhm.
It's white Latinos and dark-skinned Latinos.
Mhm.
It's Caribbean folks,
Mhm.
and it's all. It's so
And then the
listen,
21 countries. Don't forget.
so
21 and 1.
New Haven and the rest of this country, there's all kinds of Americas.
Mhm.
I take great issue with people trying to sort of ignore the diversity of this city and of this country. There's all kinds of Americas, and we have to be willing to embrace all the Americas that exist, because that's what America was for. When the people came over here to lead religious persecution from Great Britain, it was because they wanted to practice what they wanted to practice. And everybody that came over had their different views of how they wanted to live, and they wanted to set up and live the way they want to live. Now, granted, they came over here and killed up everybody and took over land and did that. But the idea of America as the great experiment of democracy and freedom is still resonates with all these different factions of people in this country. And so we have to respect that and acknowledge it. Not one America and assimilation. We know that assimilation doesn't work. But what we can do is embrace the Italians, the African Americans, and African American is a broad term for all kinds of things.
It is.
Right?
It's very much so.
I just want to say, I want to applaud Babs there because that was excellent there. But it's a form of quantum politics. It's quantum politics in America, right? There's so many different things happening, and it's so layered, and everybody's separate, all at the same time. It's almost like multiverses, you know? But this is America. It's a melting pot that has the
Nothing
beef
melting.
and the potatoes all separated in the same pot. But we're in the same pot, you know. But bravo, Babs, loved it.
There was a conspiracy that was true this week in New Haven.
What?
Undisputed. Some hackers shut down the New Haven Public
Ooh.
School website.
I need them to shut down the student loan people.
Yeah, don't you love that?
What is with these?
Why don't they
I'm
do
with you.
that?
They're
I'm
like
with you.
so bad. They have
You want to
no,
hack some?
you know.
So now we don't know. Daryl Jones, city controller, was on radio here a few weeks ago saying they've been working for years to make sure we don't get attacked like other cities. We have defenses put in place, backup systems. We're not going to pay ransomware, but they're not giving any details what happened here. Harry, as our tech genius on staff here, did you have any thoughts about that attack?
You think those were Elliker people?
He has been known. He was seen outside the Board of Ed at a protest on Meadow Street, and that's where the computers are based.
Oh, now you don't start
Oh my goodness! Now I'm responsible
But
for
now-
that too.
I
The
wanna let-
Latinos think Elliker is hacking.
But I will say something's going to make you feel so much better about our city.
Uh-huh.
You're going to feel so much safer and feel so happy.
That
to
Morris
walk.
Day is going to be on the green tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay.
And I love that rap you did on that. Anyway, Governor Lamont wants to help the cities because, you know, we're not New Haven. We've had a little uptick in shootings, but it's been Hartford and Bridgeport's had all these murders and stuff. So he said we're going to give every city $25,000 to help with summer policing. Whoops. So I guess maybe they'll be able to buy a new radio or cover the whole of the car on one of the cruisers.
Get a shiny
And he's going to
badge.
send state police to help us patrol. Now, I'm thinking of the last time I saw state
Police.
Now, last time I saw the troopers, the way they get trained, they had the guy that sicked the dog, the vicious dog,
right
on
over
a crowd of
134.
unarmed protesters and bit an old man and a cop.
Okay.
And then the state police said that was cool. Let's keep him gone. We'll send you back to investigate other cases in New Haven. I don't feel safer having state troopers come into our city.
I don't either. I don't either. I think that's a prescription for panic and drama and instigation of police officers taking a high hand with communities and young kids.
I don't think anyone's safe, right? You saw the police being, drenched with water in New York City. Everybody's on edge. You didn't see that?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it's getting to the point where
that's because we have a president
it's hot
that,
out there.
we have a president that stokes that. So
yeah, absolutely.
But he could always, if you want to chill out, he can now be hanging out after 5 o'clock and still go to Mount Horace. That's the place in Westfield.
I love it there.
I know you do. They celebrate their 10th anniversary as a meeting place, coffee shop, brunch place. Now they have a new tapas bar next with Eddie, the
and good
bartender.
drinks.
So you've been there now at the
Is
after
it
hours
part
place?
of it?
Yes.
Is it part of
Yeah,
it?
it is right
Where
next door.
Where
middle-
it used to
middle
be,
part, yeah.
they turned it into a bar. The second half,
Yeah.
you know that where
Yeah,
we used to have lunch.
Really
Right.
nicely
That was like
designed.
the old Cape Codder, right?
No.
No.
That building's burned down.
That,
Yeah.
A block away, across from
Right-
Edgewood Park,
right
on
across
West
from the
Rock
park.
and Whaley. Yeah.
right
On the
there.
West
Yeah,
West
Road.
on
Road.
this complex they built.
The
What do you
West
think?
Rock.
What do you think? Have you been to the new Mount Horace Tapas
I love
bar?
it. I love it.
Have
I
a
think
topless
Eddie.
bar there?
It's a tapas bar, and the food is
what
amazing.
bar?
Tapas.
Oh, I thought you said topless. I was like, what kind of a bar is it?
Joe got problems.
No, I wanted to know what kind of a
TAPAS, not tatas. Tapas.
Oh,
So
lost.
it's wonderful. I mean, Eddie is a great
I'm
bartender.
glad you said
I
something.
watched him
walk
at
in there
work when they had a work meeting there. I watched him at work figuring out what each person would want to drink and then getting a lot of applause for how he did it.
He's
Yeah.
good. Have you been there?
I've been there. I hadn't drink because I was working, but I know they have great sangria, and they've always had great sangria.
They have great,
there.
but they have great. He does great craft cocktails, and they have a great happy hour menu, and it's very inexpensive. So if you're feeling like if you go to happy hour places and it's like it's gonna cost you, I think you would really like it, Norma. I think you would enjoy it, and the tacos are good.
Prayer meetings.
Yes, prayer
Oh
meetings.
yeah, we haven't been there for a while.
We got to worship at the house of Mount Horace.
Like, go
I
forth
think we
and
got a
spread the
prescription.
ugliness.
And you don't even have to say you're sorry.
And then Paul, one day he's Paul Harp, and the other day he's Paul Elliker.
I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm not
All
gonna-
right. I want to thank you for joining us today on Dateline New Haven. Thanks to the pundits, the best pundits in the world, Babs Rolls-Ivy, Norma Rodriguez-Reyes, Harry Joros and Joe Ugly, and hopefully the coming week, Marquisha Rick's going to come back when she's in town.
It's Rex.
And we're going to take it out with our Semitic experience performing I Wish I Knew How It Would Feel
And let's not
Be
forget
free.
Paul Bass.
to Be Free.
Paul Beasy.
From
Paul
their
Beasy.
CD, A Plea for Peace. This is Paul Bass inviting you to fly free with us all weekend long at WNHH, New Haven's home.
For community radio.
Paul's doing his job when both sides are angry at him. So you gotta play Paul too.
But we're still going to plea for peace.